or nigger? What is the difference between the two words? How does one carry such negative connotations on the sex, and the other is a word that is accepted into our society as slang? Through the years of history, periodically African Americans have acquired numerous amounts of names, such as colored, Negro, nigger, and now currently, nigga. These names were originally used as a way to differentiate blacks from whites. Some of them are now considered offensive or derogatory, but others are now commonly used and effective terminology. Nigger is considered to be one of the most disrespectful words ever. This word is different from all the others because of its past. During the time of slavery, black people would be called nigger to degrade them and make them feel lesser than white people. When the word nigger is used today, it brings up feelings of inferiority. The big question that seems to be a mystery to the world is, how did a word that was so degrading to black race, that was used to isolate black people from white people, become a casual slang term that African Americans themselves call each other? The media. But to be more specific, music. Music is a vocal or instrumental sound combined in such a way to produce beauty of form, harmony, and expression of emotion. Music is known as a serum for the mind and soul, and in society today, teenagers are listening to an average of 2.5 hours of music per day. Just like now, music has always been a big part in society. Singers such as Billie Holiday captured the ears of the community with her harmonious scat music. And let's not forget about Jimi Hendrix, who was a legendary guitarist, vocalist, pianist, bass guitarist, and drummer who was a king of all blues music. He showed the world what black people were capable of doing, music-wise. During that time, African Americans were isolated and neglected by society. They were pushed down to their lowest point. They were cheated out of the rights that the amendments had promised them. That's why most of them turned to music. They gathered in small groups at each other's houses or at local churches. And they would sing, sing of a better tomorrow, sing of a day where the world might look at them differently. They would sing of hope and a future for their race. In today's music, predominantly in rap, it's not surprising if the word nigga is repeated all throughout the song. But does this mean that the song is loud and disrespectful and obnoxious? Not necessarily. Most rappers today rap about their life and the struggles they endure to get where they are now. Therefore, when they use the word nigga, they're expressing some type of emotion that is relevant to what they're talking. When they become more emotional and real in their music, they start to use words such as nigga, as I said before, because it brings up a lot of emotion. Most of the people who listen to these types of rap songs are more likely to incorporate the word nigga into their everyday vocabulary. Has influenced them into believing that the word is okay and harmless. For years, African Americans have fought endlessly to be equal to white people, to be called by their names and not by their race. But now today, the words that they fought to abolish are commonly used in an everyday conversation. All the information that I have accumulated has led me to this hypothesis. African Americans have accepted this word as a part of society to show that even though we came from a gruesome, cruel background, we won't let it define us. It's simply a word, and by changing the ending letter to an A, it has no correlation to the struggles our ancestors had to endure. And it's simply a word that symbolizes how the black race has rose up from the past and looks toward the future. Also, today, people use the word nigga not only to address black people, but people of every other race too. This shows that it was turned from an insult into just another way of saying friend, or greeting someone casually. Another question often commonly brought up is the word nigga offensive? To some people, it's a word that is disrespectful and degrading toward the African American community, but to others, it's a friendly term of endearment. In a casual conversation, it's not uncommon to hear people drop the last few letters of a word. For example, while talking, teacher becomes teacher, player becomes player, and last but not least, brother becomes brother. Some people use this as an argument against the use of the word nigga by saying that even though the words are now spelled differently, they are essentially the same exact word as before, and they also have the same meaning. With this in mind, is nigga really any different from nigger? It is ultimately up to you to decide. In society, people who find nigga offensive are often put down for being too sensitive. An accumulation of opinions on the topic has given society something to think about. Some people say it's degrading and downplays African Americans, while teenagers who use the word will beg to differ and say by changing the ending of the word, it makes the word new. Therefore, it has a new and inoffensive meaning. Another question that is currently brought up is, can anyone say nigga and have it not be offensive? Well, not entirely. You see, surveys have shown that the majority of people that use this word are apparently from the black community. However, other races still use the word nigga without coming off in any way offensive. But if one were to call a person, or more specifically, if one were to call an African American person in a condescending tone nigger, it could come off as demanding or beneath. Looking at the overall good, nigga is a commonly used slang terminology that African Americans themselves not only call each other, but also other races as well. The word nigga has adapted its way into modern society and is used in everyday casual conversation. But to truly say whether it's offensive or not is a broader issue that society has not yet come to a consensus on.